Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily time frame. We're starting to get a correction in here. There's two scenarios. We either get this C down or we get a correction in here. A similar size to this one over here, and then we get a W, X, Y, X2 and a Z up before we get the larger A, B, C. So that's what I'm looking at. H4, there's really not much on this. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another one up in here as a flat. So then we get an A, B, C. H1, we are getting bullish divergence on the H1. So if you go down onto the lower time frames, you may get a buy in here next week. AU, I'm looking for a larger C up. Looking for this A, B, and a C. H4, just pretty much waiting for a correction in here. I'll remove that. We got nice bullish divergence in here. And well, it's not really impulsive, but we do have a higher high here. So I'm looking for a correction in here next week. And then I'd be looking for at least a C up. And ideally, we get that wave C up for the daily time frame there. At this stage, there's really not much on it. There's no sell or buy on it at this stage. I'd be waiting for that larger correction and then looking for that buy. GU on the daily, looking for this C up, possibly up to that 100 fib. H4 is quite choppy. And we do have bearish divergence in here. We sort of have 1, 2, 3 in here. This one here, I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down and breaks that low. I'm not convinced this is the low here yet before we get that larger C up. Again, we have bearish divergence on the H1, so there's, buying is going to be quite risky. And there is no sell. For the sell, I'd be looking for a nice impulse down here, correction, and then I'll be looking to go and break the low. But you really got to wait for a nice correction after an impulse. EU on the daily. Overall, I'm looking for this A, B, and looking for a C up. Like GU, I'm not convinced that this C down in here is over yet. When we look at the lower time frames, sort of what I'm looking at here. Posted this in the group during the week. So I'm looking for this is a B wave and then get a C down in here for the A, B, C, then an A, B, C before we get more downside. So I'm sort of looking for this sort of a correction at this stage. Again, there's really not much on it that you can do. There's no sell setup on it. And overall, we do have bearish divergence, so pretty sure we do, yeah. In between like this high and this high, we have the bearish divergence. So really only looking for sells. But again, there is no sell setup on it. I'd be looking for a, well, on this one we didn't get a higher high here, so GU would be the better one to trade. But I'd be looking for at least an A, B, C here, and more than likely a tan motive. NU, very similar to AU. Overall, I'm looking for that wave C up for this A, B, C on the daily. H4 is looking quite choppy in here though. It's more on the lower time frame. It's actually on the M30 that I showed you last week. It's looking for this fifth wave up. This 1, 2, 3, 4, and a fifth wave up. It's up to the first target already. But as you can see on the M15, we may still get another one up in here. I'm looking at this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a ball hidden in here. So I'm looking for that fifth one up. Possibly up to that 161.8. And then, yeah, possibly more downside to go and break the lows. So if you're buying this, pretty much just a scalp in this wave 5. And then if we got this wave up in here and then a nice impulse down and a sell setup, well, you could look for the sell then too. But at this stage, I'd be looking for a buy for that wave 5. GY is really choppy. Like I said last week, it can really go either way. Yeah, I'm sort of looking at this C up in here as the end of the B wave, and then we get this C down. Well, we are starting to get this C down, but it's extremely choppy on the way down. H4, we got the bullish divergence, so that's fine. We got an impulse up, and in here, I was looking for a buy. It never went. Instead, we're getting another one down in here. So more than likely, this is some sort of a flat here, an A, B, C in here, a larger flat, before we get some sort of an A, B, C, which may turn motive. But, you know, to trade it so choppy, it's very difficult to get a nice entry on it at this stage. As you can see here, Friday I was looking for it, for at least an A, B, C. Never went. So yeah, pretty much just sitting on the sideline on this pair. Same with GY. GY did give us a sell there though, but on the daily, you know, we got that A, B, C up in here. This is looking very corrective. So I wasn't ruling out another one up in here. We still haven't broken this low over here yet. Excuse me. So yeah, it's quite difficult. We are starting to get bullish divergence on the H4. I would really like to get a buy on this, but there really isn't. And the reason I say I'd like a buy is because, you know, this is quite choppy. If I got a buy set up, I could look for a buy, but it's not giving any buy setups, and it's been quite difficult to get into sells. There was a little sell set up in here, but other than that, it's been very choppy to get into the sell. Yeah. pretty much like GY, I've just been leaving it alone. USD CAD, looking for this, we're in this wave 3. Looking for this wave 4, which we're in now. We're starting to get this wave 4 now. Waiting for that time factor, and then I'd be looking for that wave 5 up on the daily. H4, really waiting for a nice correction in here. We got a nice impulse down. I'm just waiting for a nice correction. Then I can look for that C down, at least a C down. Till I get this correction in here, and we don't know what sort of correction it's going to be yet. But as soon as I start to see a complete correction in here, I'll start to look for that sell, which could be, you know, a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks before we get that nice sell. In the meantime, it's more than likely a buy, which at this stage I really would leave it alone, because the reason I say that is because this is the low here, not over here. So we're not coming from a low. This is quite choppy. Come back, tried to break the low, didn't quite. So, you know, there's no real nice setup to buy on it either, unfortunately. The Chevy, looking for this B wave in here, and then I'm looking for that C up. Nothing's changed. We're starting to get this B wave. Just got to be patient and wait for it to be complete, and then I'll look for a buy. H4, we got the 5 up. We're getting a larger correction. Again, you know, this may give us one up in here for an A, B, C, some sort of a flat in here, and then we get an A, B, C. But yeah, I'm just waiting for a nice correction. It's more of a time factor now. And yep, as soon as I start to see a complete correction in here on the H4, I'll start to look for buys for that daily CR. This stage, there really isn't much at all on it. Pretty much leaving it alone. EG, we're right at the bottom on the daily, so only looking for buys. Like I said last week, it's pretty much the same as last week. Until this low here gets broken, we have that possible bull hidden. Last week, I'm pretty sure I said, you know, we can get another one down here. As long as it doesn't break that low, we can go up and break this top. So now we have bullish divergence, just waiting for a nice impulse on the lower time frames and a correction, and then I can start to look for that buy, for that bull hidden to go and break the top there. At this stage, even on the H1, there really isn't much to trade. There's no buy setup yet. We do have a lower low here, so that's fine, and we're getting bullish divergence. But really need a nice impulse up. Would have been nice if this impulse here went and broke that top and then started to give us a correction. Then I'd look for a buy. At this stage, it's a bear hidden because we never broke that top. So there is a possibility that we get a lower low here. That's why I really would have liked to see, you know, this impulse here break that top and then start to give a correction. It didn't do that, so it becomes a little bit more risky. Yeah. WTI, it's very similar to EG actually. if I go down to the lower time frame, we still can get another one up in here, breaking that top. It's very similar to Euro GBP. We have this ball hidden here. So until that low there gets broken, there's a possibility that we get a high here. We're starting to get all this bullish divergence, and it looks like it's going to come down, break the low again. As long as this low here holds, yeah, I'd be waiting for a nice impulse up, a correction, for at least a C up, but ideally it goes up and breaks this top over here for that ball hidden. So I'm just waiting for a setup. As you can see, it fell over in here. This is quite impulsive in here, but we're getting all this bullish divergence on the higher time frames. So you possibly could, I mean, scalp a sell. If you got a nice correction in there, you could give it a go just to go and break the low. But then I'd start to be careful because, you know, you'll start to get bullish divergence. I'm really more interested in the buy. But as you can see, there's no buy on it, and there's no sell set up on it either yet. So I'm pretty much just leaving it alone until we get some sort of a correction. Gold was still in this wave 3 on the daily. So I'm really, excuse me, really got to wait for this wave 4, and then you can trade that wave 5 up. Start scalping up the top of the market, and you start to, yeah, not a good idea. So just pretty much waiting for a sell setup, but again, there's been no sell setups. We were looking at this flat over here for the last couple of weeks. It's gone up and broken the top, giving us more bearish divergence now. But it's still looking bullish. There's no impulse down, so it's still more bullish. But yeah, if you're buying, you're just scalping. So at this stage. Silver, we got the 5 up, like I've mentioned many times, up to that first target. We did get 3 down, and this is very choppy on the lower time frame, so I don't really like it. But yeah, we do have a higher high here. Like I just mentioned, this is very choppy. You know, if you've been following me for a while, you know, you'll recall that I was looking for a WXY. This was looking very choppy, so I was looking for an X2 and a Z down. Instead, you know, it's continued to be choppy. But yeah, it's just not giving us any nice sell setups. We're starting to get bearish divergence in here now. So any sell you set up you get, you can look for the sell. But yeah, it's just, I think there was, well, there is a sell on this. We got a nice impulse down in here. We sort of got 5 up in here with bearish divergence. I mean, this is the problem here. This was very choppy. Instead of just giving us a nice impulse down and a sell setup, like I would have liked after we get this A, B, I want to get on this C down, but it just hasn't given us a nice setup to get in on the sell. I mean, this is very choppy, so, you know, it's makes it very difficult to get in to a nice clean sell. And yeah, if you don't get a nice clean sell, well, I don't get in at all. So yeah, Bitcoin, we got the 5 up in here. We got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It didn't even get up to its first target. This look is very choppy here still. But I'd be looking for a correction, like 50 pip retracement of this whole move up in here, this whole impulse here. So, it's really a time factor now because we already have that wave 5 up, breaking the top. So, and you can see how choppy this is. If you're trading it, you're trading in a B wave, and as you can see, B waves are very choppy. There's really not much you can do here. I was sort of looking for 1, 2, 3, an A, B, C in here, which this C up in here didn't go, and then another one down in here, but it's gone early. But again, there's really not much to there's not much to trade on it. Unless you're going right down onto the lower time frame scalping, there's really not much on this at all. S&P 500 right up the top of the market, only looking for sells, and we may actually be starting to get a sell up here now on the lower time frames. We've got all the bearish divergence, so that's fine. What's happening on the H1? We're actually in a wave 3. Unfortunately, we got 1, 2, 3. So you have to wait for a wave 4 now if you're not on the sell, and then you trade a wave 5 down. So again, you're really waiting for a correction, and then you can look for the sell. AU200 finally starting to get some downside in here. Looking for at least an A, B, C in here. And then if we get a buy set up, well, then we can look for a buy or this turns motive. It gives us a sell setup, like nice impulse down here and a correction and a sell setup. Well, then we can look for a long-term sell because we are right at the top of the market. Was actually looking for a 5th wave up in here, and I think well, I'd have to change the count here to some sort of a contracting flat here, but yeah, we got the bearish divergence. That's the main thing, and we have a nice impulse down. So we got bearish divergence and a nice impulse down. So if we get a correction, definitely look for a sell. You just, like many of the others, we're waiting for a correction, and then we can look for the trade. FTSE right up the top of the market again. Pretty similar to AU200. This, unfortunately, it's like 1, 2, 3. So you have to wait for this wave 3 to be over, and then 4, and then you can trade that 5th wave down. So again, really not much on it, but any sell setup you get, I'd be looking for a sell. You're right up the top of the market, so you can get lucky, and it can really fall over for you. Lastly, the DAX right up the top of the market again. More than likely, this has got another one up in here. We got like 1, 2, 3. So you wait for a wave 4, and then you get that wave 5 up. More than likely, we'll get a bull hidden in here after we get this correction. And yeah, we'll look for a sell eventually. But in the meantime, I mean, it's on the lower time frames. If we're looking at the H4, well, we have a possible bull hidden on the H4. It's already gone. Like, it would have been possibly an M30 trade. Yeah, would have been the M30 trade. We got bearish divergence and a nice impulse down. This would have been your correction here to trade. Gave you another correction there. But yeah, now we're getting all this bullish divergence. So if you're not on it, you have to wait for a larger correction than these over here. And if you get a larger correction over here, well, then you can look for a sell. So there's really not much in this weekly outlook, really. Most of them are in a correction. Well, we're waiting for a correction, but yeah, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.